Rolling. Okay, how are we looking? It looks like everything's okay. Are we starting to get jerky already? Okay. Okay, so this is the Vegan Steven guitar lesson course. Oh my god, Vegan Steven guitar lesson course! That's right. It's the Vegan Steven guitar lesson course. And it's fucking live. This is lesson 1. So this is the very first lesson. So congratulations. You are the winner. I'm delighted to meet you. You're looking fantastic. Alright. Oh, jeez. Guitar is out of tune. So what we're going to do is we are going to tune our guitar first. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through all the different parts of the guitar. This is your very first guitar lesson. Now what we have on the screen is what we're learning. So we have an A chord, we have a D chord, and we have an E chord. Okay, we're getting on alright. Here we go. So, we're going to go through all the different parts of the guitar. So, this black piece right here is the fretboard. And then we have all these little bits of metal in it. And they're called the frets. The frets. And then we have little dots which tell us where we are. And what they are is the inlays. The inlays. Alright, and they tell you where you are. So you got a double dot to tell you that you are at the halfway point between the other nodes, which is this point right here, which is called the nut, and this point right down here, which is the bridge. So some nice ways to remember some of these things. The great news is you don't need to have bought a guitar for this guitar lesson, okay? Vegan Steven's looking after you. We'll have guitars available for you soon. Create now, music line, great line of budget guitars. Okay, so this right here is called the bridge. Okay. Woo. And then this white bit here is called the nut. Now traditionally these were made out of animal bone. This part right here is the head or headstock. And then we have the neck right here. So again, you don't need to have bought any instrument for this. This is just a nice introductory lesson. And this is the body of the guitar. And you can tell this is my guitar because I've spilled coffee all over it here. Yeah, so that's what's happening here. Yeah, so the strings, this is an acoustic guitar. Now the recommended guitars for a beginner will be the classical or the Spanish guitar, which has nylon strings. So they're lovely and nice for your fingers. They won't they won't make your fingers bleed, okay? Which is always nice, isn't it? These strings are from a Western style guitar, and on the Western style guitar, as opposed to the Spanish, so let me backtrack for a minute. This is a Western style guitar which has metal strings, so it needs to have a reinforcement rod through the neck called a thrust rod. And you can adjust the thrust rod by a little Allen key at the very bottom here, which adjusts the amount of bow in the thrust rod. Because if you look down the barrel of your guitar, oh hey, there's a slight curve. If you look down, it looks a little bit like that, and that's called a bow, okay? There's a slight bow in the guitar's neck, and that's just so that the mechanism can work. So it's not, when you fret a note, it's not buzzing on these frets right here. So that's how the mechanism works. Now, depending on the time of year, you may need to make adjustments to the bow. because I can't quite remember my science, but I think wood expands in the cold maybe and contracts in the summer. I can't remember which one it is, but depending on what season it is, you'll have to make adjustments to the neck, and because it's a piece of wood, it will change with the weather. So ideally you don't want to be leaving an instrument near a radiator, especially in a shed like this is a very bad place to leave a guitar. And so just not in a radiator and not near in an attic and all that good stuff. Alright, you'll be grand, you'll be grand. How's this recording going? Are we looking well? Okay. Okay. So we're going to learn 3 chords in a minute. We got A, D, and E. This guitar lesson is strictly on over 50s, so if you're not over 50 years old and or with a parent, you're not allowed to watch this because I say bold words. Okay? Okay. So we got an A chord, we got a D chord, and we got an E chord, which is the basis for nearly all the pop songs, rock songs, country songs you've ever heard. All the Elvis songs, all the blues songs use these chords, alright? So just on our little, I'm trying to figure out where all these things are in relation to what you guys can see. We're going to pick this hand. Alright, so up here is our A chord, and then we have our D chord, and then we have our E chord. And then below that, whoop, just here, is that how it works? Just over here, we have our form in which how we're going to play it. Okay, so you can see here A, we're playing that for 1 count of 4. Next one we have D, so we're going to play that for a count of 4. The next one we have is A. Can we even move this over the screen? Okay, here we are. So the next one we have is back to A for 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then E. 1, 2, 3, 4. D. 1, 2, 3, 4. A. 1, 2, 3, 4. E. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's it. So that's 12. So you count to 12. Sorry, you count to 4 12 times. Okay. So this might seem a little bit complex, but if you just stay with me and just sip away at a nice cup of tea, you don't even need a guitar there with you or anything. We're just chilling here, alright? It's gonna be fine. So we have 12 bars, okay? And in every bar we're gonna count to 4. So here's 1 bar. The very first one, as you can see in the drawing there, it has an A with 4 lines underneath it. You can probably see it. How's this pointing going? Right there, okay? Whoa, that one right there, that's the first one. And they all kind of just do the same thing, but you might apply a different shape to the box, okay? So in the first box we have an A chord. So what you would do to read this is, you'd see the A chord, you'd look up to the A shape, which has 3 dots in it. And we'll go through in detail how to play it, but I'm just jumping ahead a little bit, and then we'll go into things. And if you already have a good understanding of another concept, such as if you're really good at biology or something, there's a lot of things similar in music as there is to light and sound move the same way, and so on. So if you're high up in an intellectual field or something, you'll be able to recognize a lot of similarities. Alright, so we got an A, we got a D, that's the second bar. We're on to the third bar now, that means the third count for A, and the next one there you can see is A. So that's the top line, and then the next line we're going to have a look at. So for that one, we're going to look back up our chart and we see we've played D. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, onto the next bar, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's 2 more counts of 4. So we're going to play A for each of those. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try not to rush it like I am. And then we're on our last line, okay? So it's divided into 3 lines of 4. Okay, so we're on the last line right now. So we got each bar here. Remember, each bar is a count of 4. You're going to be doing a different chord. Okay, so the first bar of the last line, you're going to be going 1, 2, 3, 4. This is called the turnaround onto your D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Onto your second last bar of the song. 1, 2, 8, 2, 3, 4. And as you can see in your chart there, you just look up to your shape. What shape's it there? E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so don't get worried. I'm going to talk you through from tone deaf person to absolute guitar legend, okay? This is only the first hour in a 100-hour course, okay? Free. Alright? Normally, people have to pay. Alright, we won't get into the sales speech right now. We're just going to chill out. So listen, you can just be watching this or even listening to this on your way to bed, and it'll kind of sink in. It takes a long time to remember all these details, like, oh, what was that called? Oh, it's called a fretboard. Oh, jeez, what was that thing called? Fucking, oh, jeez. If you listen to this, someone talking about this stuff, you know, just before, I think it's just before you wake up and just before you fall asleep, is when you have the most influence over your subconscious. We won't get into that right now. But, so if you listen to or practice at those specific times, is what Vegan Stephen would recommend. Yum, 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 yum. Alright, so listen, if you are a parent or something, and I've already told you not to let your kids watch this, okay, because I will curse and so on. So please, if you're going to let someone who's under the age of 18 watch this or whatever, I'm obviously not intentionally gonna do anything, but just watch it beforehand, like, you know, like an over 18s film. You'd watch it beforehand and go, right, is it suitable for my kid or not, you know? So maybe someone in a comment can just go, oh, skip this part where he talks about flip knows what. Alright, so it's 100 hours. This is the first hour. So we're just having a chat. It's your first guitar lesson. You don't even need a guitar. And a lot of the stuff I'm talking about applies for all the instruments. Okay? So whether you want to play bass, violin, cello, woodwind, whether you want to play drums, quiet drums, loud drums, or drums, I'll show you the way. Okay, here we go. So the blues, it's 12-bar blues. Okay, so we have our basic form. We're going to dip our toe in music theory just for a second. Oh, just music theory makes no sense at all, so don't worry about it. The more you do it over time, the more things will make sense. It's just one of those things. It doesn't really sink in for a little while. So I'm going to go through the parts of I'm just going to keep jumping around just so you don't get cognitive overloading, so you don't get too much information at one thing. I'm just going to touch on this thing, then we'll get too much. Oh, we'll jump on this thing. And remember, maybe just half watch this the first time or two, because it's a lot of information to take in. This stuff didn't sink into my head for the first year or something. Like it, just because you don't know, you could be a really good guitar player and I've never heard any of the things I'm about to tell you. So this is all just like bonus information, okay? Okay. I'm basically just downloading every bit of information I've ever learned about guitar onto this file right now, so we'll see what happens. And we'll be bringing other people on the course. We've already had Dr. Boogie on for his hour-long master course class. Alright, so let's go over the parts of the guitar again. And the brilliant thing is, a lot of these names apply across the instruments. So for example, a double bass and cello and countless other instruments have a bridge as well, and it's called the same thing. Alright, so it's used, it's not just like you're going to hear this and never use it again. Okay, so we got the bridge. Now this part right here is called the body. So you just think of it, the body is shaped after a female body. In case you didn't know. So we have the body, we have the neck, and we have the headstock. And we just got to keep saying it over and over. I'll just keep saying it every lesson, so don't worry if you don't have to write it down or anything. I'll keep repeating it during every lesson. body, the neck, the headstock. These bits of metal here are called either the tuners or machine heads. Now don't get, like, they're gonna have a different name in every language and so on, so we won't get too caught up in that. But yeah, machine heads, headstock, we got the nut, as I said. Now, Vegan Stephen does not recommend this, but if you're feeling like a mad lad, these are made out of plastic, so if you want it to resonate better, get a bit of bone or a similar made material out of the rubbish or wherever you get bone from. Because this plastic just doesn't really resonate properly. Even really thin plastic just does a shit job. You can find some other materials that aren't bone, but they're just imitating the bone, so I don't know. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. I still use plastic just because, for my own reasons, but I've nothing against using a bit of bone that I found somewhere or whatever. Whatever applies to your own ethics, you go for. Alright, this is not just a guitar lesson for vegans or something like that. It's just for everyone. Alright, so sometimes there's a lot of varnish on the back of the neck, and I like to sand that down just because I don't like the feel of that weird varnish on my fingers. Let's see how okay, my computer CPU is at 71, so that's not too bad. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on everything here. Okay, these little dots right here are called pegs. Alright, so when you want to change a guitar string, you have to take out this plug and then loosen the other string here, and that's like how you change a string. We'll do a whole lesson on changing strings, don't worry about it. We're just having a little chat. The strings generally used on acoustic guitars is a 12 gauge string, and that's the measurement of the smallest string. Now I personally use 10 gauge strings, or else I use 10 gauge electric strings. So 10 gauge acoustic, which would be under super light, or 10 gauge electric. I probably use 10 gauge electric strings just because I like to play guitar for hours on end, like all day, every day if I can, and it's very easy when you're playing big, huge strings. You know, if you play 12 hours one day and only 1 hour another day, it could be easy for you. It's like playing on sandpaper, so like you can wear your fingers down very quickly. Another trick which I love to do with guitars when I'm learning or teaching someone for the first time, basically my two recommendations are get nylon guitar strings for your acoustic guitar, and it's just make it super easy and enjoyable to play it. Some other top tips are just leave the guitar out in front of you, like beside the TV or something. And like, the only reason I got good at guitar was because I was playing it all day every day, and I still do. So yeah, watching a TV show, you can just be holding one chord and just picking away. And it's quite enjoyable. Can you guys see all the bits and bobs here? Just want to make sure everything's seeable. All the bits of the guitar. Okay, you're still good. Alright, nice one. So let's have a little talk about how to play these chords. Alright, so we got 6 strings on the guitar. We got the big E, which is the big massive one. This spells out a word, iadkaba. I think the word might be acronym. So we got big E here, then we got A, which is the next string. Then the next one down from the top, and these all get smaller as they go along. The next one we got is D, and then we have G, then we have B, then we have little e. Alright, so once again, I'll play them as well, so you can even tune to this if you want. We got E, and you'll hear that it's very low. The bigger the string, the lower the frequency. We got A, the resonant frequency, I guess. I got A again. Here's a nice D. These are tuned in fourths. I think there's a flat fourth between the G and B, but we won't get into that. Alright, here's a G. Here's a B. And here's a little E. Alright. So when you're learning to tune, it can be you're gonna break a lot of guitar strings. So just deal with it, I guess. Have a spare pack ready to go. I notice people usually change strings completely fucking wrong. But it's fine, they still get it done. So don't worry about changing the string wrong, it'll still work. I'm just a bit of a snob when it comes to these things, but the guitar will still work. Alright, so what we're doing today is we're learning all the pieces of the guitar, and we're going to have you going home by the end of this class with, you'll be able to play the blues, and you'll be able to play 3 chords, okay? These chords are used for a lot of AC/DC songs, a lot of hard rock, a lot of Elvis, a lot of Johnny Cash. So, like, honestly, I could write songs for the next 24 hours. Like, I could write 24 songs or whatever. I'm exaggerating. But I could happily write songs for the rest of the week, only using these 3 chords. I'd like to have another chord in there. Maybe an F sharp minor. But I could do it using only these. Alright. So yeah, we got the sound hole. So this works kind of like a big speaker, okay? So when you hit the string, it goes into the body, it resonates with the whole body, it amplifies itself just like a speaker, and then it comes out of the sound hole. And that is why it's a good idea to not have your hand right in front of the sound hole, because it's muffling the sound. Alright, the sound is coming out whoosh, and if your hand's in front of it, it's still going to come out, but the high frequencies are going to be a bit dampened by your hand. This is in a perfect world, okay? I regularly play, my ideal playing position is right here. Alright, so, yeah. Chords. That'll take a while, but you can just hear how that's all you need to jam by the campfire and write a song like oh, my mom's giving out to me, she wants me to clean the ceiling, she's obscene, she wants me to believe in being clean, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, just made that up. Okay, 3 chords all day long. You're laughing. So let's go through these chords again. So for the first one, I like to call this one the staircase. This is called A. So you don't even need a guitar, okay? Just use your hand like this, and you just go boing, index finger, boing, middle finger, boing, ring finger. Alright, little staircase. Ding, ding, ding. Hopefully you guys can see this. And then you apply that same shape, bing, to the guitar. Alright, can we get a bit of a zoom? I don't know if this is going to be blurry or how this is going to work, but all I'm doing is applying the first, that image right there. Alright, so the 0 at the top, under the little image, okay, the 0 means that you play an open string, which means you just hit it, okay? The black dot means that you press down on the 2nd fret. So here's the 1st fret. When it says fret, when I say fret, it means behind the metal, okay? So here's the fret right here. So 1st fret is actually behind it, alright? So this is the 1st fret, I'm bowing 2nd fret. So I'm just behind the fret there. Okay. Yeah. Alright. I think I'm already going out of tune, but we won't worry about it. Alright. So that's our A chord, little staircase. Now, we'll work up to the bottom again, because this is going to take a good while. Because, I don't know, if you already know this, skip on, I guess. But there's little nuggets of information I find when people are talking for an hour, as opposed to 5 minutes. You just hear a little bit, and you're like, oh, jeez. What was that little bit of information about inversions? What are inversions? And then you find out something. Alright. So we got our little staircase here. So the big E string is doing nothing, okay, just like in the drawing. Now in the drawing, the A string has a 0, which just means you play it open. Okay, now the next 3 notes are going to be pressed down on the 2nd fret. Index finger is the 1st finger. It represents number 1. Okay, number 2 is the middle finger. Number 3 is the ring finger. Number 4 is the little finger, and T or 5, depending on what method of reading, who wrote the information will change between like 5 and T for thumb. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Little finger, 4, 3 ring finger, 2 middle finger, 1 index finger, 5 thumb. Alright, you got it? Alright. So A I call the staircase. Alright, here we go. So big E string is not being played. Next string down, A, is being played. Next we're on to the D string. We're going to get our index finger and play that on the 2nd fret. So that's just behind the piece of metal, which is the 2nd piece of metal. Okay, just behind there. You want to be right up to the fret, but never ever touching it. Okay. Index finger, middle finger, which is 2, ring finger in behind that. Because when people get married, they put a ring on that if they, whatever they're into. And then finally you got your little E string at the bottom, okay? So, and yes, you did hear me right, there are 2 E strings. A little E, which is 1 octave. That's what an octave sounds like. So, somewhere, oh, that interval right there from somewhere over the rainbow. Somewhere. Oh, but that's an octave, alright? So that's the difference, the interval between these 2 strings. Okie dokie. Did I mention you're looking well today? Okay, here we go. D string, 2nd fret, index finger. We're still on the A chord. Next one, G, 2nd finger. Okay? Woo! Next one, also 2nd fret, 3rd finger. Alright, 1 left, and the very bottom is little E. Open, okay? So we're going to put that all together. Here we go, index finger in position, middle finger in position, ring finger in position, staircase. Everything as close as possible to the 2nd fret but not touching it. Here we go. Okay, so what did I do just there? I applied 1 finger to each string I wanted to hit. Okay. What you can also use is your thumb right here, this part of your thumb right here, right where the bend is. That's a classic plectrum. Alright. You can also use, I should really just tell you what to do, shouldn't I, rather than giving you all the options. I like to use a plectrum, personally. Use your thumb. Okay, we're going to have to take a brief millisecond intermission while we get Mr. Camera back up and running. Okay. So, state below you know, like what kind of stuff you would like to learn in your guitar lessons. I personally, it's not incredibly What I mean to say is that I'm generally going to teach you chords that are common in a lot of songs. Oh Jesus, what's going on here? Okay, all technical issues. Sure, we'll keep moving. Okay. Video capture device. So yeah, have a look at the old D chord there. I call the D chord the triangle. Alright? So have a go with the staircase, which is the A chord, and the D chord. And just see if you can figure out even like how you would go about doing the D chord. Without me. And then I'll show you how to do it in a moment. Hey, what is happening? Yeah. Window capture. Okay. Oh, this is something else, man. This is something else. We're nearly with you. We're nearly with you. Sit tight there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. This is what the blues sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Holy flippers. Oh, it's stop button. Okay, we figured it out. And we are ready to go back live. I hope you enjoyed your coffee break, because it's work from now on. Oh, are we in there? We're nearly in. A little bit more of a wiggle, and we will go with that. Okay, one moment. And we are in. I hope. What is even happening with this stuff? Okay. We are back. And we are live. Okay, here we go. So, we got the A. And then we have the D, which is our next chord. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice moving between these two chords in a moment. Okay, so get your staircase ready. See, it should sound like this. Okay, here's the A string, which is the 5th string. Here's the D, which is the 4th string. Here's the G, which is the 3rd string. Here's the B, which is the 2nd string. Here's the E, which is the 2nd string. Okay, now it's normal that this hurts your fingers. Okay, and what you can do is you could possibly wear gloves. I tried it before. I tried putting super glue on the tips of my fingers. Now this is not recommended at all. It's kind of one of those things you just kind of have to endure for a little while. And what you can do as well is rub the tips of your fingers on like a wall or something. If you don't have a guitar yet, just to help stiffen up your fingers. As I said, you don't need a guitar to get going, alright? You can listen to this theory and you can use your arm to practice these changes. You can also use maybe a toy guitar which your little cousin has or something around, just to get see if it's something you enjoy. Okay, so we got the A chord right here, and now in a little while we're going to learn, maybe next guitar lesson, we're going to learn to slide our ring finger across and do an A chord, just like this. So here's the D, and then we're sliding that ring finger over to the 3rd fret, and then we're in on the D chord, okay, which we'll get to. But this is going to take a lot of time. We're building solid foundations for a house here for the rest of your life. So we don't want to be rushing around building these fucking firm foundations. Do you know what I mean? This is... Sure, I take guitar very seriously, in case you don't know. Something close to my heart. Okay. So we got this A chord. We got the D chord. Yes, let's go through the D chord. So this is the 1, 2, A chord, 2, 3, 4, 1. So this is the 2nd bar. Is that the 12-bar blues? It is. Okay. Sorry, I'm down with myself now. Excuse me. All right. So we're in A, and then we're into D. So how do we do a D? The first top 2 strings are not used at all, okay? Now, the D string is the 4th string, and that's left to ring open. As you can see on your sheet, it's the 2nd yellow chord, the one in the middle there, okay? And I call this one the triangle, just to help people memorize what it's called. So we use our index finger to go on that G string. Oh, G string. Sometimes it's helpful to relate these things to information you already know, just to help the information have something to cling on to, stay on in your brain. So we got our index finger right there. Index again is 1. I for index as well. On the G string, which is the 3rd one from the bottom, on the 2nd fret. Okay? Now, ring finger, also known as 3, okay, is going on the 3rd fret of the B string. Can you see that there? Way! I'm just going to hold this still and show you what the A chord looks like one more time. I might be a little bit blurry there, but I get all these angles in here. Can you see what's going on there? That's an A chord, and here's me moving to a D chord. I'm sliding one finger across, and then I'm placing in my other fingers there. Now I'm going to move back, keeping my ring finger on the guitar. That's the change right there. I'm doing it nice and slow motion between the two. My fingers pretty much never leave the guitar strings, alright? They're still rubbing softly across, because what you need to do is you need to divide A by D and to find out what's in common with the 2 of them, alright? That way you have to make as little movement as possible. Don't worry. We'll keep going over it and I'll explain it in different ways, so don't worry if you're not picking up straight away. So we're on our A chord. Now, back to the D chord again. That's called the triangle. Just playing the A and D here. Okay, so we got A chord, and now we're rocking out to our D chord. Now, the D chord again is called the triangle. Just going to go over it real quick, how to do it again. Open D string, the D string is the 4th string down from the bottom. Index finger on the G, ring finger, that's the 3rd finger on the B 3rd string, and finally middle finger on the 2nd fret. On the 2nd fret. Okay, that's our D chord. Moving to our A chord, okay? So, I know I got your hopes up talking about the blues, and that's fine, but really, even if you just get this going in the next 2 weeks, you'll be flying, because you just need one more chord then before you can start singing your songs like, I don't like my wife, she doesn't bring me a beer when I'm watching television, and she asks me to put out the bins. My husband never listens to me, etc. Just made it up on the spot, which you'll be able to do soon. At the end of the Vegan Stephen course, 100 hours. Alright, we got our A chord, we got our D chord, we got our A chord again. Alright, so that's we're just going to go through the first 4 bars of this blues, okay? So 1, 2, 3, so just to clarify, here's what I'd like you to do. We're only going to do the changes right now for the first 4 bars of the 12 bar blues. So when I say 1, I want you to have your A chord ready. And then when we go into the second bar, I want you to have your D chord ready. You don't need to strum along or anything. Just go A, let it ring out for a moment, and spend the beats 3 and 4 getting ready to do your D chord, the next 3 and 4 ready to go back to your A chord, okay? And you're gonna strum it then on the beat 1 of the 4th bar. Alright, I know this might seem like a lot of complicated maths, but just join in and see how you get on. Okay, so here's the 2 shapes. You got A and D. Okay, we're gonna do a count in, so get ready. So we're gonna count into 4. When we say 1, second time you'll see me. We're going to play A together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, A. 1, 2, 3. Get ready to do D. 4, D. 1, 2, 3. Get ready to do A. 4. A for 2 bars. 2, 3. Stay on A for this next one. 4, 1, A, 2. And for the crack, we're going to keep going. 3 into bar 5, 4. Back to D. 1, 2. Stay on D. 4. D again. 1, 2. Next 2 bars are A. 3, 4, A. 1, 2, 3. Stay at 4, stay on A. 1, 2. We're gonna keep going to the turnaround. I know you don't know E yet. 4, but let's go on E. 1, 2, 3. On to D. 4, 1, 2, 3. Back to A. 4, 1, 2, 3. Big finish on E. 4, 1, 2, 3. 4, back to the start, A, 1, and just keeps going. 32 times. It loops itself 32 times. And that's your average blues song, okay? Whew! There's a lot to take in, so maybe watch the first half hour and then watch the second half hour. I don't know. You do whatever you want. You do whatever your learning style. My learning style is doing absolutely nothing, and then before the exam, staying up like 3 days straight and not sleeping and trying to cram all the information in, and then trying to like throw it all up in the exam. Whatever works for you. I just got coffee on the lovely white thing. Okay, let's have a look at this E chord. Okay, here we go. Okay, so according to the drawing, you can Google this drawing anywhere you like. I'm just doing the A, D, and E chord. Okay, so big E string, as you can see on the drawing there. The biggest string is the E string. The middle finger, which is known as 2, is going on the 2nd fret. We discussed what the frets were and how they worked. Middle finger on the 2nd fret. Hopefully you can see exactly what I'm doing here. And just to clarify, I'm just going to go through the chords again. A looks a little bit like this. Into D, the triangle, back to A, and then we're going to E. So for E, we're going to move our index finger first and slide, and then move the back of our hand in. So here it is again. Here's A. I know you can't really see this angle, but we're A. We're going to move our index finger down 1 string and slide it, and then pull our back two fingers up from the bottom of A to the E. Okay. Now, what I'm showing you is not the easiest way to learn guitar, but I am laying down beautiful foundations for the rest of your guitar career. If I say so myself. I know it's, yeah. I'm going into all of the details. So, A, D, back to E. Okay, here we go. So, by the way, this is called kind of tablature. The yellow boxes are more or less tablature, and below that is more classical sheet music. But the way in which this classical sheet music is depicted represents more of a lead sheet, which is kind of like what a bass player would use in a session. But we won't get into that. It's only lesson 1. Okay. So we got our beautiful A, our D, our A. Okay, back to our E. And I know you might not believe me, but it's good that I'm repeating myself because this takes a long time to go in. Middle finger on that 2nd fret of the A string. A string is the second one from the top. Ring finger, which is the 3rd finger on the D string, 2nd fret. Index finger on that G string, 1st fret. B string open, little string open. Okay, so we got 3 open strings: the big E, the little E, and the B. The B being the 5th string, and we're covering 3 strings: the A, D, and E, G. A, D, and G, also known as the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string. Okay. Okay, we're good. So once you have these 3 chords, you're flying. We've already done an example of how to play the blues. You just need one of your housemates to sing along with you. Sing along about, I don't want to take my dog for a walk. I've been walking him every day, but he's my best friend, so I have to. Alright, whatever's on your mind. There's no butter left to go on my breakfast roll, or whatever you're into. So, let's have another look at this E chord. So, once again, big E is just ringing out. Next string, 2nd fret, middle finger, also known as 2nd finger. Ring finger, also known as 3rd finger. On the G string, index finger. On the 1st string, B and little E open. How's it sound? The Edge, who's the guitarist of the U2, said this was the sound of rock and roll. Just an open E chord. Alright. Yeah, so once you have that going, we're away. Now, what I'd like you to do, first of all, this is going to take a long time to get in, so practice having your first chord there for the first beat 1 of each bar. Okay, 12 bars, 4 beats in each bar. You count to 4, and then you move on to the next one. Okay? And how do you know what a bar is? The slash lines there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to play the blues together a lot of times. And just before we do that, we're going to get into how to change chords. We'll probably go over all the parts of the body of the guitar. And I'll try to keep this to 1 hour, I'd say. Just because I don't want to get you all cognitive overloaded. If that's even a real thing. Okay, we've got like 10 minutes left. Alright, so let's just go through the blues. I'll show you how to change these chords again. Okay, so here we are. This is the A chord. So to go from A to D, you move your ring finger. You slide. Try to keep all your fingers on the guitar at the same time. Okay. So we got our ring finger right here. We're sliding our ring finger up to the next fret. Here's our A chord. So ring finger is going up just like whoop. What are these 2 fingers doing? They are dropping down. Index and middle finger are dropping down with 1 string in between them. Okay, so here's the motion. But at the same time, we've got to slide this ring finger across. Okay, so here we go. Slide that ring finger across and then drop your index and middle down, leaving 1 string in between. Okay? There So that's how to go from A to D. Now how do you go from D to A? Lift up that index finger and middle finger up until they're in the position where they need to be for A. So what's that, like up 2 strings more or less? And then slide that ring finger back, okay? Once again, D, we're moving up that index and middle finger together and then sliding that ring finger back in, okay? D, A, D. Change chords with me if you want to consensually. Alright, A, D. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Mwah. Alright, A, D. Now, we want to go involve E into this situation. So we got A, D, and now E. So, if we want to go from D to E, we got to slide our index finger down one. And when I say down, it means towards the headstock. That's what down means. Towards the headstock. And up means towards the body. Okay? Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. Alright? So, once again, D to E. How are we going to do this? We got D, we're sliding our index finger down one, and we're putting our middle finger and ring finger right there. D. Alright? So, slide down one, and then bring your middle and ring fingers up. Alright, now let's go from E back to D. How are we doing that? We're sliding our index finger up one to keep ourselves anchored. Then we're dropping our middle and ring finger down. Alright? Now, what if we have to go to A from E? We are dropping our middle and ring finger down and then bringing our index finger up. And if we have to go from A to E, we are putting our index finger on... Can you see what I'm doing here? You're putting your index finger on the G first fret and then pulling your middle and ring up. Okay, don't worry about that too much. It'll come in time. So let's go through these, once you get your chord changes down, let's go through this blues a few more times together. Now I'd recommend just looping me going through the blues. I'm going to do it with you. First off, just get your changes down on beat 1. Beat 1, bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, bar 4, bar 5, bar 6, bar 7, bar 8, bar 9, bar 10, bar 11, bar 12. Okay, that was the chord changes. I know I went through them very fast. But I have to show off some way. Alright, so let's go through it together, alright? Now, you can strum on every beat like this. 1, 2. I recommend doing this fairly slowly if you want to get it right. If you want to fuck it up, go very fast. That's what everyone's starts off slow, and by the end of it they're like, oh yeah, I can play guitar. And it fucks everyone up. And then you, I know, it's just some kind of part of human nature. Every student I've ever taught done this. And I did it as well. So, I don't know what's going on. That's why drummers make the best guitar students, because they know how to keep time. Here we go. Right, we're doing the blues together. Here we go. Doing a count in first. Getting our A chord ready. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, get ready to hit 4. Here we go. A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get ready to do D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to A. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to D. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, back to A for 2. 2, 3, 4. Let's turn around. E. 1, 2, 3, 4. D. finish on E. 1, 2, 3. You get the idea. So yeah, this course will take you from tone deaf lad or entity to full-time pro HD guitar legend. And yeah, that's how it goes. So listen, we're just gonna keep going with some of the parts of the guitar body. So it's gonna fly through all of it a few times. Headstock. Think of the human body. As I said, it's based on the female body. Headstock, neck, body. This is a parlor style guitar, which means it's smaller than the Western or dreadnought style guitar, which means your arm would have to go up a lot more if you're playing a dreadnought style guitar. That's why I like these smaller parlor guitars, and this is the kind of guitar I'll be selling on Create now, my new music line. We've got a scratch plate here. I know it's very hard to see on this guitar. We got our pegs, we got our bridge. Their bridge is specially filed down so that the strings lay flush, more or less. The action is very low down here, which means the strings are close to the fretboard, so it's easy to play. Our note is filed down, and all our frets are even. Let's see how many frets it has. 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 frets, okay? So the double dots, I've got to speak slower, don't I? The double dots represent the 12th fret, and then we got a dot here for the 5th. Sometimes there's a dot for the 3rd, 7th, 9th, 12th, and then it keeps going. Everything repeats after 12th. That's halfway, okay? You can tell that by the harmonics. The harmonic series, but that's we'll get into that in a different episode. Yeah. So the blues, if you only ever can play the blues, you'll be sorry for the rest of your life. The blue the blue little thing, where is it? Can I use my hand? Looks like I'm picking my nose. That thing right there, that is the blues form without the restrictions of a key. Using the classical sheet, which is here, we use the blues form transcribed to the key of A. A being the Roman numeral 1, D being the Roman numeral 4, and E being the Roman numeral 5, as you can see in the blue sheet right there. Okay, so this is the Vegan Stephen course on guitar. Make sure you comment below, ask if you want some stuff to go over again. As I said, I won't be really doing covers of any kind. I'll probably do some nursery rhymes, because what you need to do is learn a piece of music you already know. Something super simplistic, so you can tell if you're hitting the wrong notes or not. Because otherwise it's very hard with a music, like a music pop song. There's so much going on when you listen to it. It can be kind of overwhelming and hard to pick out the different instrument lines. So we're just going to mainly work on the main melody, like intervals of thirds, like ba ba black sheep, have you any wool, and A B C D E F G, and ba ba black sheep, A B C D E F G. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. All these, you'll notice they all have the same melody because they all move in thirds, which is like this. Or, and so on. Because that's the interval which is most pleasing to children's ears. Okay, so that's why kids like those little nursery rhymes, because even if a kid is like a newborn baby, it can seem like they have a very high range in voice. Like, right? But in fact their range is very small. Their vocal range might be like and so on. That's like 4 octaves or some shit. But they generally have a range of 1 octave, which would sound like this. That's to be the full range. Alright. So this has been the Vegan Stephen guitar course. We got frets, we got the fretboard, we got the neck, we got machine head, we got the truss rod, which is the support beam inside. You got my recommended by the Vegan Stephen guitar as a recommend. We got a guitar strap, that's how this works. We've got strings, they're 12 gauge or 10 gauge, whichever you're into. 12 gauge is standard. I think that's everything. Sound hole. Alright, so listen, we'll leave it there. This has been episode 1. It's been an absolute delight and a pleasure working with you. I hope maybe you'll think about coming back, and if you don't, maybe I'll teach a bass or drum course, a piano course, and we'll see what happens. Alright, look, I got shit to do. So, see you.